The sacrament of penance is one of those sacramental encounters with the Lord that He's given to the Church, particularly to give us the opportunity to acknowledge our sins, but we acknowledge them not with fear or in a kind of a grim way, but we acknowledge our sins at the invitation of Jesus because He desires to forgive them, and we encounter that forgiveness in a very personal way in the sacrament of penance. On the morning of His resurrection, when Jesus appeared to His apostles, we can imagine that they might have been a little afraid to meet Him, since most of them turned their backs on Him, and Peter even denied Him explicitly, denied knowing Him. But Jesus announces peace to them. His desire is that they encounter Him in peace, and that the power of His death and resurrection be mediated to them as a gift, not in any way as a threat. And then He goes on to entrust to them the responsibility, the privilege of forgiving sins in His name. So we see the origin of the sacrament in a particular way at that moment, after the resurrection of Jesus. Sin is any choice that we make to go against God's law, God's loving plan for us. In our Catholic tradition, we often talk about two types of sin: mortal sins and venial sins. Venial sins are what we might call small offenses against God and against our own dignity or the dignity of other people. A mortal sin involves such a serious choice to do something evil, something that is so harmful to myself or to others, that in a sense, from our end, it turns off the flow of grace from God to us. In a sense, it's like extinguishing a candle. It's possible for it to be relighted, but it's not lit at that moment. It's not capable really of fulfilling its purpose. So in order to commit a mortal sin, I have to be considering something that's in itself serious. I have to understand how serious it is, and then I have to deliberately choose it. So, for example, just to pick a nickel up off of somebody's desk as I walk by, or grab that from somebody else in the family, it's not a mortal sin because it's not serious enough. If I steal your car, that's a serious offense. We'll have a couple of Sundays right before Ash Wednesday when our priests and deacons will be preaching about the sacrament at Mass in all of our parishes. On the first Sunday of Lent, right after Ash Wednesday, my hope is that whoever is preaching will invite everybody in the congregation to a kind of a collective examination of conscience. So I have this vision of everybody in the Archdiocese at the beginning of Lent this year, really kind of taking stock of ourselves spiritually before God, not as a way of burdening ourselves with guilt, but as a way of beginning that movement towards reconciliation and forgiveness. And then we're going to make the sacrament available in all of our churches on the Thursdays of Lent this year, every evening. We're going to call it the light is on. The lights will be on in our churches and in our confessionals and confessional rooms. And my hope is that all of us will take advantage of the blessing of this sacrament during the season of Lent.